here, and today I have a flip through. It's not going to be an unboxing, it's just going to be a flip through and first impressions of the Dark Arts Tarot from Kickstarter. And I have to say that I'm very disappointed of the production quality of this deck, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a moment. But it's kind of showing me what not to do for making your own deck in some ways. And it's really, really hard. Hey, Tiger's Abyss. And it's really, really hard for I know for me as a making my own deck, and I have my own deck out here to spill the tea. And no, I'm not. So yeah. I know it's hard for deck creators. Hey Becky. Hey everybody who's popping in. To make quality decks or trying to make quality decks, but unfortunately the creators of the Dark Arts Tarot did not do a good job of quality control, and I think he's going to get a lot of complaints because I'm like that close writing formal complaints myself, or saying that, before you put your deck out on Kickstarter like you did, charging $50, then you might want to check and do test samples of your deck and test quality of your deck before you start. This is a Kickstarter deck. Yes, this is a Dark Arts Tarot, and it passed on Kickstarter, but it really is like the prime example of what not to do in production quality. And I'll show you here in a second when we look in the cards. And so this is a Kickstarter deck, and I just kind of was surprised. I was really surprised because I really was excited for this deck, and I was really interested in getting this deck in my hands and start working with it because this deck is an acrylic painting deck, or a deck where it's all based off of acrylic paints. And if you follow my deck creation at all, this is my deck, and this is my sample copies of my own deck. This is all based off of acrylic paints too. So it kind of gives me an idea what some people might consider, are looking for, compare my deck to their deck, basically. Gives me something to compare it to, because I've decided that it was I've decided with my deck that I'm actually going to remaster some of the cards' backgrounds. And like, for example, this one, you can't really see it very well because of my beautiful new lighting here, but you could see a little bit of the canvas in the background of the cards here. And I'm going to go in digitally and try to digitally touch up some of the images, and so it's a lot crisper. Because the problem with acrylic paint, and this is what I'm going to show you here in the Dark Arts Tarot, the problem you have with scanning acrylic paint or taking pictures of acrylic painting when you're trying to make decks and things like that, is you get the sheen of acrylic paints. And it's not like wash, where it's gonna, when you take a picture of it, it takes a picture very flat, or you could actually scan a gouache painting in without having to, or watercolor, and it won't have that kind of crazy sheens to them. But when you really start doing oil painting and acrylic painting and trying to make tarot decks with oil painting and acrylic painting, it gets challenging because you're like, oh my God, do I go to a professional scanner? Do I go to a professional person to take photographs? Do I rent really good cameras and really good lighting, things like I have right here, and try to take pictures of the card and hope for the best? So I've decided for my own deck, this is my own deck, by the way, that it might be better to do the best pictures that you can with like your umbrella pictures and umbrella lightings and things like that, and then go in digitally and touch up where it's glaring and sheen. That being said, let's go ahead and flip through the Dark Arts Tarot cards, first impressions. Immediately, the box, it does not strike me as like a something that you would get from Kickstarter for $50. And this is a really standard talk box. I'm thinking that he is using MakePlayingCards.com just as a theory. And then when you go into the cards, and I'm not going to show you the fronts quite yet. And so, yeah, basic top box. Top box. And set that aside. The backs of the cards, and apparently he is also an ink artist, and this is how the back of the cards look like. And so he does ink, and I thought it was very interesting with the crow and the skull. It's not my favorites as far as backs go. It's not really reversible. And it is actually the same cardstock as a Game Crafter deck, believe it or not, Tiger's Abyss. So I don't know if it's through MakePlayingCards.com or Game Crafter, because it does feel like the Ashira Tarot as far as cardstock, and it does look like maybe a Game Crafter deck. I don't know. But so when we flip over to look over the cards, and immediately you're going to see some quality control problems. First thing you're going to see as far as quality control is the top has like this white border on the top and border on the bottom. And I don't think it could show it up on camera. Maybe I can. But it's actually like looking through foggy glass. The cards and the images themselves look like you're looking through foggy glass at the image. And this is the Magician card. Actually, he, aside from the top and the bottom having that cutoff point, he actually looks pretty good in person. I don't know if I could turn off one of my lights, and it might not be as, yeah, that's a lot better. I'm going to just keep one of my lights off. I think that's a better image. And then some of the images actually look like they've been distorted a little bit too, to fit the cards a little bit, or they're not fitting into the cards originally. And this is this one, the Empress card, is, I don't know if it's even coming up in the camera, but it's very, very blurry. Looks like foggy glass. It's kind of reminds me of that 1910 Rider-Waite, looking at that 1910 Rider-Waite. But for $50, paying for a Kickstarter deck, I felt like he should have done a little bit more quality control for sure. And I feel like I paid way too much money for something that wasn't carefully thought out and wasn't carefully sampled and things like that. Because right here, this is the Lover's card. This is a glare. I don't know if you could tell. That's a camera glare, where he's taking a picture of the painting, and it glared like that. And he used his flash photography. That's a no-no in acrylic paint photography. If you're going to take pictures of acrylic paint, you don't use flash photography. And so that's part of the problem with this deck. And it's just, I feel so upset because this is one of those decks that I really was looking forward to. This was like one of those decks that I was like the decks of the year, like the deck of the year, kind of one of the decks. Like, I am going to only be having like a few pre-orders come in, few things come in. And this is just going to be one of those decks that I'm just going to work with, because I really was taken by some of the dark imagery and his idea of tarot. And actually, I really do enjoy some of the images that he chose, like this hangman. I love the fact that he used the bound hands and things like that. It's not the images themselves. It's not the paintings themselves, and I'm bitching about everybody. I'm just letting you know that. Just to put it out there on the table. It's not the images themselves. I love the images. I love the darkness. I love the life, love, and all this acrylic painting that he had. I just can't get over the fact that it's like, why can't you do a little bit more quality control with your deck? Just a little bit. It would have been really nice. So yeah, those are the kind of first impression thoughts I have about this deck. And I'm just going to kind of flip through the cards kind of quickly. I wouldn't have paid $50 for that. Some of the art is nice, but it's done an injustice with the white top and the white bottom equality. The deck tragic. Yes, I wouldn't have. Honestly, Tires Abyss, if I knew this was going to be $50 for what I've got, I would have not paid for it either. And I would have never backed it on Kickstarter. But I'm actually feeling very close on writing him and wanting a refund or for him to fix it up. You know, like one of those things. I'm really, really feeling close. Because I feel like because not all the decks have the white tops and the white bottoms. It's like the majors had the white tops and the white bottoms for whatever reason. But so when you get into the minors, they don't have the white tops and the white bottoms. And especially when you get to things like this, it's like, come on, Gus. Don't use your flash photography on black acrylic paint. Because that's what happened here. He used his flash on his camera, and he didn't get the black background in there. And same here. And then he also cut out the other hand here. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, it's like, could you pay attention to your images and your painting just a little bit? So yeah, I am really, really upset. You don't get me wrong, everybody. I am really upset, but I'm trying to be the better person. and I'm pretty sure it's gonna piss off, or did piss off, other people really bad, and I'm gonna probably hear some updates or Kickstarter updates about it and stuff like that. So it's really tragic because I really love the images and I really love the art of the deck. It just it got lost in the quality. Like, he is amazing. He's beautiful. I love him for the King of Cups. I think I'm going to still use this deck anyways, but this might be more of a personal deck or an altar deck or something like that. Something where nobody else is going to see it. Because I just don't feel like it's right to show this off to clients. It's kind of like no, this is not something I would be comfortable showing in front of clients or having in front of clients just because of the quality. And that's the King of Pentacles. I really like him too. The Kings are really cool in this deck. And this was one of the decks that he released on Kickstarter. And even then, the Kickstarter image looks so much better than the one that he chose for the cards. It's like, what happened? What happened? And this one too, the Three of Swords. It's like, what? What happened? What happened? This one is kind of harder to see, but it is a hand holding with a smoke with swords. Unfortunately, everybody, this is going to be a very quick live chat and a very quick flip through because I got my family downstairs and everything like that. I just wanted to show people my first impressions and get my first impressions of this deck. And I will go back in here and do a proper deck review on a later date, and probably give you some updates if I decide to contact the creator or anything like that at all, or anything of that nature. So I'll give you updates and I'll give you a proper deck review later. But right now, I think I'm not at a place where I could give a good deck review, unbiased to the quality, I should say. So, just some of my first thoughts. And I'm going to shuffle the deck right after I flip through. And then the Knights is the last. Oh, I didn't realize that. That was a horse right there, like that. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. It's Queen of Wands. King of Wands. Actually really love the kings in this deck. And then he did add a few bonus cards, like his ink cards. Let me see if I could come in. Like knowledge with the snake in the hands. Again, I think he should have centered it a little bit better. The Hound. I actually really like the these extra cards that he added in, and the Octopus and Risk. I actually really enjoy this one too. This one's beautiful too, which is the Seer. All right, let's see how this baby shuffles. And already the cardstock is very much like a Game Crafter deck, or a very much like Game Crafter cardstock. And so we can and it actually shuffles very nice. I actually do like the linen or whatever, a faux linen cardstock that Game Crafter decks have, and this deck has that same kind of faux plastic faux linen cardstock too. But I just kind of wish that he was paid attention to his quality control just a little bit better than he did. And so I'll give you like a good 3-card spread and a 6-card spread example. So let's do a 3-card spread from this deck and see how it looks all together. Whew. I do that too often. I rifle shuffle and I bin a card funny. So I am notoriously bad for that, but I'm also trying to show how I would shuffle on camera too. Yeah. I'm mean to my decks, by the way, everybody. I am a little bit on the mean side. All right, so let's go ahead and all right, we got Temperance. Got the 7 of Pentacles right here. And then the Queen of Pentacles. All right. Let's see if I can get it to focus on the cards instead of like the background. All right. We got it. All right. Okay. Right. That's a little bit better. So that's where the I had it there for a second. Oh well. All right. So all right. And so Temperance is basically all about that balance of learning to balance the two worlds together and making a perfect whole in unity. Whereas the 7 of Pentacles is more of the Harvest, but in this deck, it's a more of a darker deck. I wouldn't have to interpreted this as Harvest. 7, I would have interpreted it as my Marseille style of 7, which is the spiritual 7 and spiritual of the physical world. And, I would say the death or the skull would have been connecting 1 to the spiritual world of 7, and you're physically in that spiritual realm or in spiritual ethers right now. And then right here, I'm hearing my mom downstairs real quick, so I'm going to speed this up real quick. And so here in the Queen of Pentacles, it is emotion of the physical world, or that emotionally feeling in the physical world. And I had this card last year as my year card, and so it's very interesting seeing this come together for me, because this is actually kind of a reading for me. Honestly, this is a me reading. And so that would be this reading right here, just me just talking it through like that already is describing my situation right now with everything going on. Let me go ahead and do, just for kicks and giggles, 6 cards and see what it would look like for me in a 6-card spread. So honestly, I really do like, regardless of the quality control of this deck, I really do like it as far as the layout goes. It looks really good as in a layout. So I'm probably giving it a not as good of a credit as I probably should. This card's layout looks pretty good. I don't know if my camera is picking it up at all. Let me see if I can get this to focused down here. Okay. That's what I was looking for right there. I don't know if it's picking it up at all, but it actually doesn't look too bad as far as the overall layout like this. It really looks pretty dang good, considering the following. So maybe I am being a nasty critic, and I should give this this deck a try. And this one is the Dark Arts Tarot Greenual, and I backed this one up on Kickstarter. And it does have some quality control problems. Like I don't agree that the majors should have like the white border on the top, border on the bottom. Some of the cards are not quite centered, to the picture or the images or the acrylic paintings. And he used flash photography when it comes to making this deck. And so there are some quality control issues with this deck, but it is definitely looks better in a spread than it does individually, for sure. And that is something that I am going to have to work with when I work with this deck. Unfortunately, everyone, this is really going to be brief, flip through, walk through, and an example spread. And I will get back to everybody on what I really think about this deck after working with it. I'm not going to give a really, maybe my first impressions video was a little nasty. I agree that what I said was a little mean and a little nasty. But I'm going to give this deck a chance. I will give it a chance, and I'll get back to you guys and with an unbiased, unfiltered opinion. So, unfortunately, I have to go because I have a daughter at in the hospital again, and I have to attend to her, and I have to have dinner before I go and say bye-byes and stuff like that. So, I love you all, and I'll get back to you on making more videos. I'm thinking this is going to be a thing more, is doing more live unboxings or live first impressions or live walkthroughs. I think I'm going to just do it that way because I just feel more comfortable when I have an audience with you guys versus trying to film it by myself. So I'm going to give it a try. And this is just the thing going on right now. But love you all. I will be back here in a little while.